Hey guys, and welcome back to part 2 of this month's episode of Gunpla News. In this part we're going to be talking about the new kit and figure announcements that we've got over the past month. Once again, I'm still coming to you from the roof of my apartment, but as you can see there, I think the sun's just about to go back behind the mountains, so after this part we might have to move it inside. But anyway, let's get it started because there were quite a few announcements this month. The first one is the Robot Spirits Justice Gundam, coming out in September for 6,000 yen. Last month we got the announcement for the Robot Spirits Freedom Gundam that's going to be coming out later this year, and my thoughts on the Justice are pretty much exactly the same. The proportions and the articulation look really awesome with this figure. It's definitely going to be a really nice figure for the fans of the series, and I do like what they've done with the design, how they've made it like kind of very simple and angular. I thought the same thing about the Freedom as well. It looks really cool, and I think it's going to be a nice figure. Next, moving on to some Gundam Converge stuff. The Gundam Converge Series 19 is going to be out in June for 400 yen each. There's some really cool ones in this set that I think I'm definitely going to try to get. And it's going to include, number 1, the G-Self with the atmospheric backpack. Number 2, the Gun Tank Early Type, and the V2 Assault Gundam, and the TR1 Hazel Gundam, and the TR1 Advanced Hazel Gundam, and lastly the Hrududu unit, which is another design from the Advanced of Zeta series that is able to be used for the Hazel mobile suits. Next is another special set coming from Gundam Converge. It's their SP06 set that includes the Zeta Gundam and the O mobile suit. This is coming out in September for 2,200 yen, and it looks really cool. The Zeta Gundam is actually able to transform. That's pretty cool. The O Gundam has its big, huge rifle, and it also has some sub-arms that can attach to the front skirt to hold the beam sabers. So that's really awesome. I don't think this is going to be one that I'm going to pick up, but I definitely have grown to really enjoy these Converge figures and definitely put a lot more thought into if they're going to be ones that I actually want to buy or not. Next, keeping it with the Gundam Converge stuff, but moving into the P-Bandai products, we're going to be getting the Gundam Converge Core 00 Riser Gundam. That's right, we're getting more love for the 00 Riser this year, and that's going to be coming out in August for 2,000 yen. So it is going to be coming with 2 different figures, the 00 Gundam and the Riser, which you are able to, of course, combine to make the 00 Riser. Another cool thing about this is that it is going to have some new markings on there, so that is kind of interesting. Now, one more P-Bandai Gundam Converge Core mobile suit is going to be the S Gundam, out in August for 1,500 yen. 1,500 yen seems a little bit high for just one mobile suit, one figure, and actually the only real difference from this, from the original release, is that it's just got some new colors on there. So the colors are a little bit different. I think the feet and the chest and the head has just got a little bit different colors on there. I'll give you a picture here comparing the original with the new version. I like that, but considering that I already have that kind of already built in with the Deep Striker that I got, it's probably going to be another one that I'm going to be able to pass on, especially for that price when you consider usually one costs less than 500 yen. So I'm not sure how that's going to sell when it's 1,500 yen for just one. It is a P-Bandai product, and that's kind of why. Next is something that I think we all saw coming. It's the P-Bandai RG 00 Riser in Trans Am colors. This is a gloss injected kit, just like they did with the Exia before, and honestly I don't like the gloss at all. But I think the problem is that it's just really hard to recreate that image of the Trans Am mode in a kit form, because basically what they need to do is to make it like light up. And the gloss injection is getting the color close, and I think it's better than maybe a like metallic or like titanium kind of finish on the kit. But still, I think probably your best bet, if you really want to recreate the Trans Am mode, is going to be painting it yourself and just investing in some like really high quality, like bright paints for that are going to really shine that light. But that's out in June, and the one good thing about it is that the price is very reasonable. It's only 3,000 yen. That's only a little bit higher than the price of the normal kit itself, so that does have one good thing going for it. I'm sure that's going to be something that a lot of people are going to be wanting, because I know the 00 Riser is a very popular mobile suit, and I'm sure that that RG is going to be selling very well. Next, this is something that's pretty cool. It's the P-Bandai funnel effect parts that can either be used with the Master Grade Sazabi Verka or the RE100 Nightingale. Now, these look like it's just going to be one set that you're able to use with either one kit or the other, so maybe it's just going to have some different connector parts for those, because where those actually plug in is going to be a little bit different for those kits. but the effect parts look really nice. They look to be molded in kind of a clear yellow, and it looks like depending on how you've got light shining on it, they do kind of give off different shades of like yellow and orange in there, so they do look pretty nice. They appear to be molded in kind of a plastic that can be bent, because it's not like a hard system of plastic where you're like ratcheting or just bending it. You basically just forming the plastic effect parts how you want, which looks pretty cool. Someone complained last time when we had the Gunpla talk, episode 1, someone was saying that they thought the funnel effect parts look too short, and I kind of agree with that. I mean, you have to imagine that the funnels are coming out, so I mean, at some point in their launching system, the effect part's not going to be that long. But for people who maybe wanted to use these for dioramas, they probably are going to want a little bit more length on those effect parts, and they're just going to be better off building some on their own. But for some people, I think that these are looking really, really nice. And for the price of only 1,800 yen, that's really not all that much. It's maybe like just $15–16 in US currency right now. So it's really not too bad for these effect parts. Anyway, those are going to be releasing in July. And the only thing I'm really worried about those is how well that plastic's going to hold up after a lot of time and a lot of bending working with that. We'll have to see if that plastic is going to be a really good quality, or if it's going to be something that might deteriorate after a few years. That wouldn't really be that good. Next, this is something that got me really excited because, as some of you guys may know, I'm a huge fan of the Turn A Gundam series, and they announced that they're going to be releasing a master grade Turn A Gundam Moonlight Butterfly effect version. So last year we got the effect parts for the HG Turn A Gundam, and it didn't really look all that good. So this year we're going to be getting a basically larger version of that for the master grade. So again, I don't really think it looks all that good. It basically just looks like a sheet of plastic, and they just kind of cut out the wing shape, and that's it, and then just gave you some kind of ugly connection parts to connect it to the backpack. Not really all that exciting, but at least the new master grade version is looking better than the HG version. Now, this is going to be sold as a set with the effect parts and the model kit sold together, so the price is going to be a little bit high, 5,900 yen. That's like $55, and that's because the kit itself is also special. The mobile suit is actually molded in gloss injection. So, as I just said about the RG Trans Am 00 Riser, I don't really like gloss injected kits. I think it doesn't look good, and especially if you're going to be spending that much money on a kit, you want it to look good, and this one is just, I think, not going to be for me. One other thing that it does come with is an Action Base 1 that's going to be molded in like a sparkly clear. So it does look like a pretty nice set, that you're getting the gloss injected mobile suit, you're getting the Action Base that's a clear sparkly Action Base, and you're getting the big new butterfly effect parts. It does look like a pretty nice set. I just wish that the Gundam itself was just molded, and it's just its normal mold. But luckily, they are going to be selling just the effect parts separately. So what you can do, and probably maybe what I'm going to do, is just get that, where it's just the Action Base and the butterfly wing effect parts, and then you can just buy just the normal version of the master grade, which costs maybe something like $30, and then the price is actually going to be coming out to roughly almost about the same price, really. But I would rather want to paint the Gundam myself rather than just have the gloss injected version, so it's got that going for it. So just the effect unit is going to be selling for 1,800 yen, again around $15–16, not that bad, and both of those sets are going to be coming out in July. Another very, very exciting thing was the P-Bandai exclusive Mega Launcher for the Hyakushiki 2.0. Now this is, I believe, the first time that this version of the Mega Launcher has been made in 1/100th scale form, because previous versions of the Master Grade Hyakushiki, there were two. One was just the original that was gold plated, the second one was not gold plated, but it came with the balut pack, and now this one we're getting gold plating and parts to attach the balut pack, and now through P-Bandai we're going to be getting the option of getting the Mega Launcher. Now sadly we don't have any images of that yet, and there's no price or release date for that yet as well, but I imagine they're going to be wanting to get that out as soon as possible because the Hyakushiki is coming out in June, so I imagine they want to be able to get the Mega Launcher out very shortly after that. So I would say maybe July, August we can probably look at this coming out. I'm sure within the next couple of weeks we'll probably see some news about this, especially with the Shizuoka Hobby Show coming up. I'm sure there's probably going to be some more news about it there. Anyway, that's awesome. I don't really like the look of the HG version, so hopefully they kind of give it a little bit of an update this time and change it a little bit just to make it a little bit more eye appealing for me. But anyway, it is awesome and I can't wait to find out more about this. Next is the Premium Bandai Master Grade Gadoga in full frontal color version. This is going to be out in July for 5,500 yen. Now this is really cool because I'm a big fan of full frontal in the anime series, but the one thing about it is that this really looks like it's more of like a char color scheme. Now when you think about full frontal's previous mobile suits, or the other mobile suits that we've got in kit form, the Shinanju and the Ribau, both of those are just straight red. So I really think that they should have gone with just a straight red color scheme, maybe two-tone red, like red and a little bit darker red for this Gadoga instead of like the kind of dark red and pink. It's really just reminiscent of char. The only thing that really makes it look like it's a full frontal mobile suit is the fact that it's got new parts around the wrist for the sleeves markings. And when it comes to new parts, that's pretty much the only thing it's got on the mobile suit itself, just those new sleeve marking parts. The other thing that it does have new, on the other hand, is that it's got a new rifle. And the new rifle does look really cool. One thing about it though is I think it looks maybe a little bit too like realistic as to like a rifle that like a human would use. Usually the rifles and weapons that mobile suits are using are looking a little bit different. They're not looking like so super detailed like something we would see like in a Transformers movie, like some soldier going around shooting that. This looks a little bit maybe too detailed, I think, compared to the kit. But I don't know, it does look really nice. This is a kit that I would really like to get, but it is a little bit expensive and I'm just not sure if I can really swing it at the moment, so I don't know. If I can get it, I would be happy and I would really love to show it to you guys, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen yet. One other thing worth mentioning about this is that it is going to be coming with some waterslide decals like we usually get in Master Grade P-Bandai exclusives, and the waterslide decals look nice, although a little bit boring because they're mostly just Neo Zeon symbols and numbers and letters and just generic markings, so there's not really anything that says it's like a full frontal mobile suit, so that's not really all that exciting in terms of the water slides. Basically it looks like all the same kind of water slides that you can get from like Wave or any other company that makes like third-party decals for mobile suits. Alright, so next we're getting a P-Bandai version of the HGUC Zissa Gundam. Before we had the Unicorn version, but before Unicorn, the actual first time that we saw that mobile suit was in Double Zeta, so now we're getting the Double Zeta color version. Now all this is just totally a color swap. It doesn't look like there's anything new about this kit at all, except the new color now molded in this very, very bright yellow. So this is going to be out for 2,400 yen in July, and at that price, it's only a little bit more expensive than the normal one. If you really wanted it in yellow and you don't paint your kits, then it's not really a bad option, but otherwise it's not really seemingly any reason why a lot of people are going to really want to buy this kit. Speaking of P-Bandai kits that probably not a whole lot of people are going to buy, they're making Premium Bandai versions of the Mac Knife and the Elf Bullock. Now these are going to be now color swapped into their mass production type colors, but the other thing about them is that they are having new heads, so they do have some new parts for the head, but ultimately just color swap and maybe some obviously different stickers for maybe some different colors, and that's pretty much it. The Mac Knife is going to be out first in June for 1,400 yen, and the next month in July the Elf Bullock is going to be out for 1,800 yen. And that's it for Premium Bandai, but we do have one more kind of limited kit that we need to talk about, and that's the HGUC Unicorn Gundam 03 Phoenix Type RC Destroy Mode version GFT Silver Color version. That is a long name and it wasn't easy to remember. Obviously by the version GFT denotation you can tell that this is going to be something that's going to be sold only at Gundam Front Tokyo in Daiba. Tokyo, so you're gonna have to go there to get it, or you're gonna have to know someone in Tokyo that can get it for you. And actually this is going to be the 4th version of the HGUC destroy mode version of the Phoenix. There was the original one in like the nasty gold, then there was the gold plated one, and then there was the clear color one, and then now we're getting the silver color one with a red inner frame. So there is one cool thing about this, is that if you wanted a red inner frame for that, I mean, you could have got that before from the regular destroy mode unicorn, but if you wanted it for the Armed Armor DE shields on the back, then now you're going to be having the red inner frame for that. You could swap it out with a different unicorn if you want. Anyway, I think people are really starting to get to the point where they're a little bit tired of the unicorn, so this might be maybe one of the last of the limited versions of the HGUC unicorn in any form that we see for a while. But I don't know, I wouldn't say that with 100% certainty, because I'm sure Bandai can figure out a way to get at least 1 or 2 out more maybe. Anyway, the price isn't bad at only 2,400 yen. The problem is just getting it from Gundam Front Tokyo. The silver on it looks pretty nice. I actually don't really mind that kind of molded silver that much, but I'm sure it's gonna have a lot of swirls in there, like Dave the Gunpla Meister really loves those swirls in molded plastic. Me, I don't really mind them a whole lot because it just kind of looks like part of the silver effect there, but yeah, I don't know. Now last month we got teased with this image showing that they're going to be releasing 4 new Build Fighter kits out in July maybe, or July, August, around there. Now of the 4 kits that were predicted, 2 actually have been announced as releases that are going to be coming out in July, but 2 of them have not. Now the 2 that have not actually been confirmed yet were the Leopard Da Vinci, the Gundam Leopard Da Vinci, and also the SD Amazing Red Musha. Now, we still might get an announcement for those in the next month, maybe at the Shizuoka Hobby Show. But for now, the only 2 that we did get confirmed, the first one is going to be the HG Build Fighters DOM R35. This is going to be out in July for 1,800 yen, and I think it looks amazing. It looks really awesome. It looks like it's not going to be using any parts from any previous mobile suits, mobile versions of the DOM. It might be possibly using like some of the joint parts, maybe if there's a runner of the HG DOM where it's just like the gray runner where it's got a lot of the joint parts and stuff. Might be borrowing that runner, but I'm not sure because I haven't built that kit, so I don't know how concentrated those parts are. Anyway, this one does have a lot of really cool color separation. The 2-tone blue is really nicely separated throughout the body, and then it does have a lot of really cool gimmicks, like with the knee, the 3 claw on the knee is able to open up. It does have that same thing on the elbow, but I'm not sure if that's going to be able to open up as well. They're not showing it in the picture yet, but just from what I can see, it looks like the one on the elbow is going to maybe be able to open up as well, but not really sure yet. The other cool thing it has is that the shield looks really nice just as it is, but the fact that it's also kind of articulated, that you can have it in different ways and you can bend it, it looks really nice, and the fact that there's 2 of them. Anyway, it looks like it's going to be a great kit, and I really can't wait to get my hands on that. Then the other new HG Build Fighters kit we're getting is the Lightning Zeta Gundam that's going to be out in July as well for 2,200 yen, so a little bit higher, but it does seem to be a little bit more of a complex kit. Now it is coming with the very large backpack, which is not really all that appealing for me, but the cool thing about it is that the backpack is able to make a front launcher kind of similar to what the Hyakushiki had and what other kits have had before as well. And the other cool thing about the launcher is that it has like beam effect parts to go on the side of the wings. Now I'm sure you can use those when the backpack's on its back as well, but anyway, that's going to be something really cool about that. There are quite a lot of aspects to the design that I really like. I really like the beam rifle that it has, and that's going to be probably a big selling point for me when it comes to if I actually buy the kit or not. The one thing that I've never really liked a whole lot about the Zeta though is the color scheme. No matter how much I like the design, the color scheme is just not really my style. That's one reason why I tend to usually like the different variations of the Zeta Gundam a lot more. So if this kit ends up being something that I'm gonna buy, it's definitely gonna be painted in some different colors whenever it comes around to being painted. And one more thing from Build Fighters, we're getting the high-grade build custom parts to make the giant Gatling gun that's gonna be out in June for only 500 yen. that's pretty cheap. We had a version of the giant Gatling gun come out before in the Gundam system weapons set, but the system weapon sets are usually around $10 or $12 like that, because it's kind of a lot of stuff in there. This one seems to be really only about half that stuff, so that explains maybe about half the price. And we're still getting a lot of options for this. It does have like a tripod where you can stand it up, and it has different options for the end of the barrel and different options for the handles and for the main body of it. And I'm not sure how well it's going to be able to attach to other parts, but I'm sure it's going to be very versatile to attach a lot of different kinds of parts to it from other recent releases from the HG Build Fighters series and High Grade Build Customs option parts sets. Now, speaking of system weapons, we did get an announcement for 2 new system weapons that are going to be coming. That would be version 9 and version 10. So System Weapon 009 is going to be out in July for 1,300 yen, and that's basically going to include 2 different versions of the Zaku bazooka. And they're going to be basically similar to the version of the bazooka that's going to be coming with the Origins version of the Zaku 2, the Shars version, or the high mobility type Tri-Stars version. Then System Weapon 10 is going to be out in August for the same price of 1,300 yen, but this one's going to be a little bit more tailored for mobile suits from the Seed storyline, as this is including a beam rifle and also a bazooka that are basically made in the Seed style. Then we've got some new HD builders parts. We've got the MS Vernier 03 out in May for 600 yen. These look pretty nice, some nice verniers. You've got your choice of some more kind of angular ones that are more similar to like your Gundam kind of style, and then you've got some more rounded ones that are a little bit more similar to like some Xeon kind of style verniers. So it's nice that we're getting more option parts like this. It's really helpful for people who maybe don't scratch build, so it just gives you some more options for that. And then the other set is going to be the builder's parts for the MS Sword 01, also out in May, also out for 600 yen. And this again looks like a pretty nice set, giving you a lot of different options of different kinds of swords that can be combined to make like a double-ended sword, or there's also a couple of daggers there that you can use. So there's going to be a lot of different cool options for people who like using swords for their mobile suits. The last new announcement is going to be another ship coming from the Mega House Cosmo Fleet Special line, and this time it's from the Gundam Reconquista and G series. It's the Megafauna ship. It looks pretty big, pretty red. No exact release date for that yet. It just says it's going to be out sometime in the summer, so maybe June, July, August, like that. And it's going to be 4,500 yen, so a little bit expensive, but it does look like a really, really nice kit for people that like building ships and stuff like that, something other than Gundams sometimes. The other cool thing about it is that the initial batch will also include the Minovsky fin effect parts for that. So if you can see in these pictures, that cool like fin effect coming out of the side is not going to be forever available with this kit, only in the first initial batch. So if this is something that you're interested in getting, I think it's something that you definitely want to get your pre-order in for as soon as possible. Another cool thing about it is that it comes with the really, really tiny figures for the G-Self, the G-Arcane, the Montero, and 3 Grimoire. So I'm not really sure the scale on those, but from what we can see in the picture, they look really, really, really tiny. So even hand painting those is going to be a struggle, I think, to get them detailed at all. But it does look really cool, and with this ship especially, I can really see what Tomino was going for in making it kind of an old school anime look, because the design of this definitely looks really, really old school in terms of this, the design and everything on it. So I can definitely see that coming through, especially on this ship. But that's gonna wrap it up for all of the new announcements this month, and it's pretty good timing because I'm really starting to lose the light back there. The sun is now set behind the mountain. So as we move on to the part 3, 4, and 5 of this month's episode of Gunpla News, which will be the updates on the kits that we knew were coming out, the third-party stuff, and the featured artists for this month, I'm gonna head inside and we're gonna be doing those parts inside, kind of like normal. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. If you want to see the next parts, just make sure you stay tuned. Once again, they are going to all be available in a playlist, so if you want to be able to watch all the parts together in a playlist, that will be available, so just make sure that you check that out. Thanks for watching guys, see you in part 3.